I'm on the camera?
Yep, you're good.
Yay! Hey, this is Dennis Cotton. Once again with Puffin Drinks, coming at you from Wjzz Cool Tv, the coolest station alive. Once again, my name is Dennis Cotton. I have my partner,
Jimmy Jefferson.
Okay. And once again, we are missing the third triad, or the third part to the triangle.
Rodney the Killer Love.
Rodney Love. Missing in action. Once again. This time, I guess he's hunting wild boar in Borneo.
If it's Borneo, Michigan.
Yeah, okay. So, let's see. Let's get right to it. Last week, we talked about interracial dating. The do's and the don'ts. Why we do, why we don't. Etc., etc., etc. This week, we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna take ourselves away from the physical. No, maybe I didn't say that right. You know what? Sometimes I have a tendency to ad lib, so we're just gonna go right into it. Okay. Our topic for tonight is this: are black men and or black women targets of law enforcement? Did I say that right, Jimmy?
You said it correct.
Okay.
Or add this: targets of law enforcement, or do we make ourselves target of law enforcement?
Oh, much better. You know what? Yeah. Are we targets of law enforcement, or do we make ourselves targets? I have my opinion. I'm sure you have yours.
I got a few words. I got a few. Just a few.
All right. So before we get started, let me tell you right now, we definitely want to hear from you. Please give us a call at 313-355-6018. So
this
Jimmy,
is a topic you want to get in on.
Yeah. Do you want to start off on this? Because I definitely, I can't wait.
I've seen a few videos in the last few weeks, and actually, to be honest with you, the last few months, that, to be perfectly honest with you, I've been wondering whether or not we're walking around with a target on our back. And I know, living in the city and everything else, or living around the city, we've seen different things and different stuff come up on the news and YouTube and, Instagram, all this other good stuff. One of the incidents that took place a few months ago was a young man trying to get into his truck, and the police rolled up on him and asked him what it was he doing. Instead of him telling the police that he had locked his keys in the car, he politely told him, what in the F do you think I'm doing? I'm trying to get in my truck. Instead of him just saying, turn it around, it wouldn't have taken a few moments. You don't have to go super polite about it. He could have just said, I locked my keys in the truck. I need some help trying to get it out. I'm trying to get it out. Instead, he went the opposite direction. In fact, he went ape shit. So, needless to say, it didn't go well at all because, of course, Detroit's finest was put in a situation where they had to take him down. And then, of course, there were cameras all over the place. Everybody had the cell phone around and everything else. And then, of course, you had, the neighborhood anchor people. They were going around with their cameras and everything else. They were giving their story about how it all went off and everything else. But you can see from the initial police engagement with him that they did ask him, what's going on? What are you doing? And he could have easily and politely just turned around and said, I locked my keys in the truck. That's it. It wouldn't have taken him but 2 seconds just to say, I locked my keys in the truck.
Yeah.
All right. Now we move along a few months later. You got a young lady at supermarket. She's pregnant. She had got caught shoplifting. She makes her way to the car. Police pull up on her and everything else and say, young lady, we need you to get out of the car, And she was like, why? What did I do? What did I do? And everything else. So she starts to do the normal ape shit, going crazy. And then she did decide that she was also doing the filming too on a Facebook Live. Again, and that's some other crazy shit. So it goes a step further. The police gets in front of the vehicle and tells her to stop. She lunges the car at the police. Of course, he fires a few rounds in the car, kills her and her unborn child. I'm not sure that all incidents are the same. Of course, they're not all the same. But you got to start asking ourselves, too, are we causing this shit to happen? Or are we just kind of sort of okay, the police always got it out for us and everything else, but and people do understand. I know that we see these videos every single week,
every day.
And there was another one just I think I sent it out the other day too, where the young lady worked at Bojangles. It was someplace in the South. So it doesn't matter if it's up north, east, west. It doesn't matter. It happens all over. And of course, no one knows the backstory and everything else. But it took 5 police officers to take her down. She didn't appear to be that large. She seemed to be very small and everything else. And even when they got her up off the ground and everything else, she was still clowning. And at that point, you have to start asking, okay, all right, what we really doing here now? I'm not, and I'm be very honest. I'm not pro police. I'm not. I'm not a pro police person or anything like that. I know that they serve a purpose and everything else, but I'm not a pro police. I've had run-ins with the police officers and everything else, and some of them being a black man, and that I'm not a fan of. I'm just not. So, but I do respect what they do, and I also know that they can change my day in a dramatic form by me acting a fool if things go crazy.
But you're an intelligent black man, right?
Well, absolutely. But
okay.
But you and I both know that you can take and do something wrong, or you can take and go a little further and decide that you're going to take and be a smart ass, and then next thing you know, you're not coming home.
Well, why would you do that?
Well, you're right. You're right. Why would I do that? And I don't. But I'm saying that could change dramatically. But again, I've seen incidents where the police have rolled up on people and they'll ask a question and then people will become combative about it, or either they'll start clowning, or why are you talking to me? Why, what you want, and next thing you know, it ends up in a bad situation. And then you have your neighborhood anchor people with their cameras, everybody out.
Want to be journalists.
These are all your Ron Burgundies.
Yeah.
Everybody's got the camera, everybody's got something to say. They want to, get their 50-cent piece in.
Yeah.
But the only problem with getting their 50-cent piece in, you make a situation worse than it was.
So here's my thing. My first when we first talked about this topic, I was a little confused. So let me try to unconfuse myself with a couple of questions. The first scenario that you told us about, is this a typical white cop black guy?
No.
Oh.
No.
Black cop black person.
It was actually one black cop, one white cop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then let's look at this from the perspective of the knucklehead. Why would you see, this is what I don't understand. They have the power, they have the authority,
and they have a gun.
And they have the gun.
Yep.
Why would you want to act up? I just don't understand. I just don't understand. I do not understand. Help me to understand, why do some of our people act up in the face of law enforcement? Usually, but not always, usually it's the typical white cop, black person situation that goes terrible, okay? But now we're discovering this, there are situations where it's black cop, black cop.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Why in God's name would you act like an asshole in front of a cop? I don't understand it. Is it the slavery thing, or is it, I can't say that, and I won't say that, and I will say that you have those who have no respect for authority, period. That I will say. Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter if the cop is black, it doesn't matter if the cop is white or not. They just have no respect for authority. They're just who they are. And then I've seen the same thing happen with white people too, where they've gotten their ass kicked too because they decided they were going to be disrespectful to the police officer who's asking questions of them. So I've seen it on both sides of the coin. And again, and I have to put my disclaimer out. I am not pro-police. Do understand that. But I will say this, that I know for a fact that there are times, or 2 or 3, where people can escalate a situation that didn't even have to escalate. It didn't have to go that way, and then you're seeing situations day in and day out every freaking week where someone is actually getting caught up or getting arrested, and the next thing you know, it's on the news. Okay, the cop brutally hurt someone or he twisted the person's arm a little too hard and that kind of thing. And again, the question still remains, and I still ask the question, are we causing this or are we putting targets on our back? Because I think a lot of times, and I'm going to be honest, I'm going to throw it out there, and I'm quite sure I'm going to get some feedback. I hope I do get some feedback about this.
We hope so.
That I believe that some of our people, and people, period. I'm just going to say that. And of course, I'm speaking for my culture, but I think depending on the age, the generation and everything else, there's this, I don't give a damn attitude. I just don't give a damn. I don't care. I can do 5 years in jail standing on my head. I'm not one for that. I'm just not one for that. I don't have time to make friends in a free hotel that the state is paying for. I just don't. And so, with that being said and everything else, Dennis, I think that when we look at some of the things that are going on with respect to police officers and then the people that they're supposed to protect and serve, there is a breakdown. There's a real gap. And I don't know how to actually fix that. I've thought about a few things, but I definitely want to hear from our fans and our audience and our family, period, to call in and share your thoughts about these things.
Where did the breakdown come from?
Exactly.
Could it be, what's that? Fuck the police.
Mm-hmm.
Public Enemy.
The Public Enemy didn't do it as NWA.
Oh, NWA. Okay, all right.
Yep.
I got the wrong group. Well, look, my take is this. Hey, if you put a target on your back, you're a target. If you want to get an ass whooping, you're going to get an ass whooping.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get popped in the head with a couple of slugs, you're going to get popped in the head with a couple of slugs. Why this I don't give a fuck attitude? Where did it come from? Where did it come from?
And again, I can't answer that. And one of the things I noticed that kind of sort of disturbed me not too long ago was the 5 officers that beat the hell out of the young guy in
Can't think of his name.
In Memphis.
Shoot. Yeah.
And they killed him.
Yeah.
He was killed from that and everything else. But what they don't tell you, there was a white officer that was involved in that whole melee too. And this particular white officer, he rolled up on the whole situation and everything else, and he was instigating the situation as this boy was being pummeled, and he didn't do anything to stop it, but he was not charged. But the other 5 officers were. So, all right, we have our first caller.
Hello.
Okay,
maybe
right.
not. All right.
If so, please call back.
Okay, let's see if we can. All right, well let's continue the conversation with the 5 black officers. So why did they beat the hell out of him? Wait. Did he? I wish to God I could remember his name. Did he? He must have said something.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Yes.
He fucked up.
Yes, he knew that he had fucked up.
Yeah.
And to be perfectly honest with you, what happened, I'm not really sure, to be perfectly honest with you. It was supposedly a routine traffic stop.
Yeah, because I you know what? I'm not necessarily pro-police. Well, you know what? I would say I'm more pro-police than non-police. I mean, I've had my run-ins with law enforcement. But here's the thing. The times that I have been pulled over, they let me go free. I mean,
really, nigga?
Excuse me?
Really, nigga?
Okay, whatever. Why would I give an officer who has the power a hard time? These were traffic stops. I tell you, I found myself going to Belle Isle one day. I hadn't been there in years. This was after the state took it over. So I'm going over the bridge, MacArthur Bridge, I think that's the name of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing 40. I'm thinking I'm doing the speed limit. Didn't give it a second thought. Okay? And I saw the state police guy, I saw the state police cruiser sitting there. Okay? Once again, I didn't give it a second thought. I continued on doing 39, 40 miles an hour. So as I make my right turn onto the island, he pulls me over. He says, "Sir, can I see your license and registration, proof of insurance?" I showed it to him. I said, "Hey, good afternoon, officer. Why did you stop me?" "Well, you're doing 40 miles per hour, in the 25-mile-per-hour zone. I didn't know. I truly, in my heart, I did not know. I said, officer, you know what? Hey, I'm so sorry. I haven't been out here in years. Okay? My apologies. I didn't know. And he showed me the sign. Ding. Officer, hey, you got me. It was my mistake. I surely apologize. He said, all right, Mr. Kyle, one moment. Let me check your stuff. If you're good, I'll let you go. My stuff was good. I let him go. What was the lesson learned? Act like you got some sense. Act like you got some bloody sense.
One of the things. Oh, we got a caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Puff and Drinks.
You know, I'm telling y'all, man, I've been listening to this bullshit, man. Y'all full of shit with this, man. Listen.
Okay, all right. Go on. What you got? All right. Hold on. Before you get on with your bullshit, let me take a sip.
I'm a former cop.
All right.
And I can tell you right now that all you silly-ass niggas, all y'all got to do is shut the fuck up and get against the car.
Okay.
Don't know how to do that.
Okay.
Don't know how to do that, so I got to come down on
Okay.
you know,
So, okay, let me ask you this. Did you ever want, at any point in time, really do an assessment of the situation, or did you always just engage it with all this other crazy shit?
Well, shit, man, if y'all niggas just shut the fuck up, we just need somebody. You don't get out the car. Shut the hell up. Get up against this and that. Y'all can't do it. Y'all keep popping at the fucking mouth, and y'all silly as hell. So you know what?
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, I cracked a few of you motherfuckers in the head. I don't care for it.
See, this is the shit we deal with. This is the shit that we deal with. And once again, I am not pro-police. And I can see that why people like you that probably shouldn't have been a police officer.
2024, niggas.
See?
2024, he gonna bring in some shit.
Oh, my God. Okay. See.
Sir, may I ask a question? Are you white or black?
What I sound like.
I'm not sure.
See, you didn't call it blow smoke. You call it blow up some bullshit. That's how it is.
Man, y'all, man, see, I'm tired of the whining.
Okay.
I'm tired of the crying.
Okay.
If white man do this to me,
Okay.
they don't do this to nobody else.
All right.
Blah, blah, blah. But guess what? You riding through the hood with your new music going. You're smoking that shit everywhere you go.
Okay.
Man, y'all, fuck y'all, man.
All right. Okay. Thank you, caller. Thank you. Damn.
Man, fuck you, so.
See.
All right.
All right. Thank you, caller.
We want you to have a nice day.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Did he say he was a...
Have a nice day if I pull y'all niggas over.
Okay.
See.
All right.
Thank God we don't get pulled over by your ass.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right.
See.
And what do you do now, sir?
He goes.
He hung
Thank
up.
God.
Okay.
All right. Can we take a station break?
Yeah.
On that
yeah.
one. God damn, boy.
Time right now is 6:18. This is Puff and Drinks. We're drinking. We haven't been doing much puffing lately, but we're going to work on that.
Yep.
All right, so Puff and Drinks. I'm Dennis Cotton and
Jimmy Jefferson.
thank you, sir.
I apologize. I'm trying to get over our last caller, bro.
Yeah, he was kind of ghetto. Ghetto, 2 syllables, ghetto. All right.
Okay.
Our topic for tonight is are black men and black women often the targets of law enforcement, or do they set themselves up as targets of law enforcement? You know what? I think it would be a good idea if we maybe quickly review some of the high-profile shootings of the past year or so. Okay.
I don't know. We've had that kind of time.
Yeah, we got a lot of them. I don't want to say shootings, killings. Okay. I mean, obviously, let's do the most famous one, George Floyd.
Right.
Okay. We all know what happened. Mm-hmm. Everybody in America, everybody around the world knows what happened. Okay. He was killed by a white cop who put his neck on his throat, and he died. My question is this. Now, obviously, he did not deserve to die.
No.
Especially that way. But my question is, did he have a hand in his own demise? I say, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure he had a hand in his own demise. And the only reason why I say that and everything else is because he was already in the car, and then they pulled him out of the car.
Uh-huh.
When they pulled him out of the car, you already had stabilized the situation, whatever the situation, because apparently I think he was originally arrested because he was drunken or intoxicated or something like that.
He was trying to pass a phony $20
okay,
bill.
all right. So with that being said and everything else.
Which is a federal crime.
I understand. But he was already handcuffed. They had already had him in the vehicle. And then they pulled him out of the vehicle. The cop that eventually killed him pulled him out of the vehicle. I think that he was made. That was a punishment, and I've heard police officers, and then there's been several instances of these particular police officers who they call it corrective actions. Mm-hmm. They do things to take, and it's shorter torture. It really is. It's actually shorter torture. There is a situation that took place in Louisiana a few weeks ago where several of the police officers there, they would take suspects to this warehouse, just disappear. These people would just disappear literally, and they knew that, and this was in Baton Rouge. They knew that if they went to this particular warehouse, any suspects or people that they ended up disappearing, they would just disappear completely, and those who did survive it ended up with a thorough beating. You know, and then at first the police department denied, of course it didn't exist. We don't know anything about. But then when the news team actually pulled up to the warehouse and showed the warehouse, and showed what happened, and that's what took place. Again, do we have a target on our back or not? Because there are instances where I do believe situations like that. They target us. We're actually targets at that point. I mean, you are not bringing an ass whooping on yourself sometimes. Sometimes you just don't.
You know what? That's true.
But you got to at some point in time say, okay, where are these guys losing control at? Or
not thinking.
It works on both ends though.
Okay.
It works on both ends.
Well, look, obviously what the cops did, no excuse, no justification. The one who put his knee on his neck, he's in jail for life. He got what he deserved. The other ones, they've lost their careers. They've lost their lives. I got it. I get it. And I totally support all that. But my question is, did George Floyd indirectly contribute to his own demise? If he had not passed that $20 bill, he would have been home playing with his daughter. But yeah, he tried to pass the $20 bill, and he got caught. And the young man, I think it was the young man who initially called the police, did he not regret the fact that he did call the police?
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah,
okay,
he did.
So once again, callers, if you have an opinion about this one way or another, we would love to hear from you. 313-355-6018.
There are causes
6018
and reactions. There's a reaction to everything. There's an action that takes place in there, and there's going to be a reaction from someone's taking a particular action. And watching that whole thing unfold and learning how it all unfolded and everything else, a counterfeit $20 bill didn't warrant his life.
Obviously.
But then we also have to start asking ourselves too, and then this is something. Oh, we got another caller.
We have a caller. Hello, welcome to Puff and Drinks.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how are you gentlemen doing?
Good. How are you tonight?
I'm okay.
All right, what you got to say?
Sorry?
What you got?
A couple things.
All right, I hope so.
And I wish I had something to puff and drink on, okay?
Well, we got a little something. We'll take, you know what? I tell you what, we'll toast one for you. How about that? All right?
All right, close it up.
All right.
I do not believe, well, it's like anti-cop, pro-cop. Just like in the same breath, we have a target on our back and we don't. It depends on what you do, what you put yourself in a position. If I'm out driving recklessly and a cop stop me, I'm supposed to, yes sir, act like you got some sense. And if you're wrong, I'm going to live another day and get home and I'll see you in court.
Do you fear police?
Pardon me?
Do you fear the police?
No, I don't fear nobody.
Okay, there you go.
Hey.
All right.
But I know there's good and bad.
Mm-hmm. And every job.
And I have to act accordingly.
Common sense.
Yep.
You know, you spoke briefly about the police officers in Memphis that killed the young man.
Yes.
From what I heard, and I won't give too much time or energy to it, it was supposed to be personal. One of the officers was dealing with the female that the young man was dealing with.
And I've heard that several times too, and I didn't want to bring that into the fold, but I'm glad you brought it up and everything else. And
also George Floyd. Again, from what I heard, the officer ran into George Floyd
on several occasions.
Yes.
Time before, and it was a little personal.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sure we have incidents that you're just in the wrong place and evil just takes over. I often think about Sandra Bland, the young lady that was somewhere down south
in Texas.
Drove by herself.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And just got a new job, and she ain't never been seen again.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah.
And see, once again, you know, I don't want to say, and I kind of do want to say a little bit that there are targets that are put on our backs too, and then there are also situations where we're put in where all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose. The George situation, all hell broke loose. The young man in Memphis, all hell broke loose. And if it was personal, especially the incident in Memphis, I had heard the same thing, that the one that delivered the most blows was angry with him because he was dating this young lady that he was dating. Mm-hmm. So of course, you know, at that point, I think it takes on a gang type mentality. You know, where, you know, we're going to take up for one of the members of our gang. You know what I'm saying? You know, when you got
you ride or die, and you know.
And you got to start thinking too with these police officers too. And I've questioned it 1,001 times and haven't really got an answer to it. But most of these police officers belong to a fraternal order.
Yeah.
They belong to a fraternal order. Most fraternal orders require that you take an oath to one another. And their oath, and I'm not verbatim, but their oath is to one another, and it is to death.
I understand, but we in 2023, and sometimes you're gonna have to like just oath. And I understand, I'm a loyal individual. I've got a few. I mean, just like fraternities and you know, all other type of organizations. Well, come on now. It's a time we're going to have to man up or woman up.
Oh, well, and you're right.
I don't have to be a cop if I'm going to watch you kill somebody.
And I agree with you 110%, because if I'm standing there with my fellow officer and a young lady did take and pull back another officer and he choked her. The other officer choked the other police officer because she told him to stop.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
And of course, he quit directly after that. He resigned or something like that because he was brought up on charges, yada yada yada. Yep. But he did choke her out right there at the scene.
Right.
You know, and I do believe that these officers should be treated just like the military, where after a certain point in time, you need to rotate them in and out.
Makes sense.
Because if you got a man who's been doing something 10 years straight, where he's been on the street, he's a street cop, and he's seen all the horrors of the street and everything, well, he's desensitized.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So at that point in time, you know, he's desensitized. He's also got PTSD.
Okay.
There's a whole host of shit.
So what? So if you're about to get pulled over, if you're getting pulled over, and I'm being a little silly here, and the cop steps out, and you see on the top of his forehead, he's suffering from PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. Okay. Well, one would think you might want to be on your. Oh, thank you. One might think you might want to be on your polite side.
You want to be quiet. And before I get off, that's another thing, Richard. I watch, I'll take news breaks. But when I'm watching, you got people hollering, fussing and cussing, and you want to run.
And
What the hell
that's
wrong with you?
that's exactly what I started the
You
conversation
have
out
to leave
with.
the target on your back. I'm gonna show you my hands before you ask me.
You just answered our question.
Well, but you know, just to back up what you just said and everything else, that's exactly what happened a few months ago, where the young man was, you know, the police asked him, "What are you doing?" when he was using a coat hanger trying to get into his own car. He could have easily just turned around and said, "I locked my keys in the car."
Or when it was on the porch. Or
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly. You know, but they what they didn't tell you, you know, because you had the neighborhood Ron Burgundies, the neighborhood Ron Burgundies, they all had their little scripted story about it. But when the police showed you the other side of that and everything else, it said that the officers did walk up, they politely asked him, they said, you know, "What are you doing?" He could have easily turned around and said, "I locked my keys in the car and I'm trying to get them out." Instead, he decided to go belligerent and everything else. He said, "What the F you think I'm doing?" Blah, blah, blah.
Well,
So.
yeah, but we put targets on our back. And
Thank you.
put one on my back, and kind of, I don't want to get too much energy to the first caller because I do think he was special.
Yeah, he needs a little help.
Special
He needs a little
ed.
help. He needs a little
You know,
help.
some things I didn't get taught that in school. Like you have to tell people now to dress, you know, in your Sunday best to go look for a job. I didn't learn that. I knew that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, so you know when the police is around, they like you say, they authority, be respectful. They got a freaking gun.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go.
All right, gentlemen, I'm not gonna try to let somebody else talk to you.
All right.
Thank you so
for
much.
calling. We appreciate you.
All right.
All right.
Hey, thank you so much. Bye-bye. All right, 6:31. We are about 60. No, it's 6:32. We're about 120 seconds past our next station break. All right, you are watching Puff and Drinks on Wjzz Cool TV. All right, our topic for tonight is: do black men and or black women make themselves a target of law enforcement? All right, we are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and other top social media platforms. We want you to like, follow, share, comment, and subscribe. We want to thank you for watching Wjzz Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And once again, callers, we definitely want to hear from you. You know what? I am a teacher during the day, and you know, oh my gosh, I've told my kids in so many ways, all you got to do is just act like you got some sense. I've given them real life scenarios. I told them, like, if you get pulled over by law enforcement, don't act like an ass. Good afternoon, officer. How can I help you? Okay, you provide the information. Now here's the thing though. If you did something last week, okay, well, you're gonna get caught up.
If you got warrants, you're gonna have a problem.
You're getting caught up.
It's gonna be a bad day.
Why run? Okay, it's not like we live 30 feet from the Canadian border, okay? It's not like you can run and hide in Canada. What are you going to do? You're going to take your ass home or to your auntie's house or to your girlfriend's house. 9 times out of 10, law enforcement will find you. Jimmy, I think, you know what? I'm enjoying this conversation, but I feel like we're not, I think we need to narrow it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
I think we need to come down on one side or the other. Well, you know what? I think our caller just answered the question for us. I won't say we.
I don't think it's one-sided or another. I think it's both sides. I really do. I really believe that we do put a target on our back, and I also believe that a target is on our back.
Just because we're black.
Yes, I do believe that. And there are strange occurrences that take place. I've been in situations where I've been stopped, and I know damn well I was doing everything right. Mm-hmm. Same thing that's happened to my daughter and wife. They've had these situations where they've been stopped, and one officer stopped my wife, and I have to tell the story and everything else. I had just purchased my truck, and she takes the truck to go to the grocery store. Her and my daughter both in the truck and everything else. She turns the corner where I think she was only like 3 or 4 blocks from the house. She turns the corner and everything goes whoop whoop. You know, of course, she gets stopped. She gets stopped and everything else.
By a white cop?
Both white cops. Both Roseville cops. And I'm just giving the city, okay?
In Michigan.
And so with that being said, they go over my wife and daughter. They're both polite, the whole 9 yards. No issues, no situations or anything like that. But they spent more time asking her about the truck. They asked her, when did you get it? You know, truck looks really nice. You know, big truck, yada, yada, yada. They were going back and forth, up and down, looking at the truck. You know, and it was, she said it was really, you know, strange because they wasn't really getting to the reason why they stopped her. They were getting to they were just talking about the truck and her driving that truck.
Did they ever get to the reason?
They said that she had went over 5 miles, but for the most point and everything else, they didn't even write the ticket for speeding. They ended up doing, because Roseville does this thing, and then this, just as for anybody who's in Roseville, they won't write a ticket for speeding, but they will write for impeding.
Yeah.
The impeding, it's no points on your record,
Right.
you know, but what happens with the impeding, the ticket is usually 125 to 175.
Right.
You know, they getting some money out of you one way or another.
Yeah.
Roseville does that, Redford, Livonia,
Yeah.
you know, Warren.
It's happened to me.
Everybody, you know, they won't write you for speeding.
But then on the other hand, I'm assuming your wife didn't have a criminal record. She had a good driving record.
Everything was fine.
So
everything was fine and everything.
Now, if she had a criminal record, if she had, you know, warrants of blah, 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 it could have totally went the other way.
Oh, it would have went. Of course, it would have went sideways.
So I get it. Was it racial profiling? Maybe, maybe not. Was it a quick money making
in
scenario?
Roseville, it could be both.
Okay.
It could have been both. I mean, and Roseville is known for that and everything else, especially the little smaller areas, Roseville, Fraser, Utica. They're known for that.
Yeah.
You know, but these are the things I wonder sometimes, you know, and I still go back that I think that some of these officers need to be rotated in and out.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, take them. Everybody knows that if you're in the military, whether it's the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, they rotate you in and out so that you don't become battle fatigued.
Right.
You know, but you're telling a police officer to go out there every single day to deal with these hellish situations and everything else. And some of them, yes, and I'm gonna be honest, they are hellish situations.
Oh, yeah.
But pull back. You ain't got to let them go. Just pull them back. Say, okay, all right, Officer Wilson, you're going to have to stay and work in the station for, you know, the next year or so.
Right.
Or the next 6 months to get him, you know, back to, you know, himself again, that kind of thing. Rotate in and out so that way you have a officer who can reassess himself or reassess the situation a little bit better. You know, that's my thoughts.
The shooting death in Grand Rapids, white officer kills a black man who was from, I want to say Nigeria.
I think
I'm
so.
not sure.
It was from one of the African countries.
It was on television and everything. I'm sure many of you saw it. The white officer pulls him over. We don't know exactly what happened, obviously.
No.
But next thing we know, our black man is running.
Yeah.
Running. Didn't stop. Now, for some strange reason, the white officer chased him. Oh.
Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello, caller.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, how you all doing
Good.
tonight?
Thanks for calling in, too.
Good show. Listen, I was calling just to make a comment. I believe that I agree with what you were saying, Jimmy, that we do have a target, and sometimes we can be, perpetuate some things just by our behaviors and responses. However, I want to speak to something that Dennis said regarding the children in the class. And we do have to consider, that usually children, just like, racism and prejudice, those are learned behaviors. And so they're more than likely hearing certain rhetoric at home because of the experiences. Now, we do know in a lot of impoverished areas, there are harassments for no reason. So, our young urban men and women, because here in Detroit, it may be, predominantly African-American and Hispanic, Latino, but also like in Los Angeles and things of that nature, that there are bad cops as well as good cops. And a lot of times they get harassed, but their experiences have been negative,
Yes.
or, they've been set up. That doesn't give them the right to just act any old kind of way, because it's not smart. But I can see where that animosity would, come forth. And so if you have a child that's at home and they're hearing this, or maybe they've experienced, they were in the car with their parents, and, you know, I hate the police is this and the third, then that's going to be their attitude. And so, you know, you can tell them all day long, but at the same time, it's like kind of giving them examples, you know, but definitely driving while black is a real thing.
Oh, I agree. Oh, yes, it is. It is. You know, one of the things, and you brought up, and even from what Dennis was saying, and I thought that I want to try to get this in before our show ends tonight and everything else, but one of the things I think that we don't say and that our white counterparts don't do, we as African Americans, we always tell our children. You tell your children what to do if you're accosted by a police officer. If a police officer stops you, you tell them so that they can arrive home safe.
Yes.
You know, now I have talking to my white peers, and they've never had that talk. They've never had to have that talk. And and even at my age now, I still find that fascinating because they've not had this talk, but we've had. You've given it to your sons. I've given it to my daughters. Yep. You know, these are the things that you wonder, how come they never give this talk to their children? And I'm just gonna take and tell them they don't have the kind of problems we do.
We have problems. Wow.
The thing that I was discussing with someone is that even that, because I know I had gotten pulled for like no reason at all. The officer actually lied and said that my tag on my car was wrong, and I had just license and everything. And I was like, what? And then so I went to the Secretary of State and was like, there's nothing wrong with your tags. He didn't give me a ticket or anything, but I think because I was in Plymouth at the time, this is when I was in college, and everything was legit. I made sure of that, and he felt dumb. I guess he felt like he was going to pull me over and find something. Because I was in like an older school vehicle, you know, but it was sad. However, I would like to say that, you know, I was making a contrast as to how we're perceived. Just like Nancy Pelosi's husband got hit with that hammer.
Yes.
I really, truly believe in my heart that if that man had been black, when he
would have been popped.
Would have shot him to oblivion.
Yeah. Well, and the thing I find amazing about that too.
And hit him, and then he actually made it to court. Oh my God.
The thing that was so amazing about that is that the police officers were there.
Oh yeah,
they were there at that time. Even when the man was trying to keep this man from hitting him with the hammer, they oh, we got another caller. Can we? But thank you for. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, why don't you tell your black children, you know, if they stop committing crimes, you know, maybe they can get away with shit, you know, where an officer doesn't crack their fucking head.
Oh my
okay.
God. All right. Are you smoking something, sir?
Yeah, I think you on that shit tonight. So, I mean, but you know what?
You know, listen, fellas. I live in Redford.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Of you sons of bitches.
Here we go.
Driving through there and acting like you own a fucking place.
Here we go. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, caller.
Yes.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good night, caller.
Bye.
Thank you.
If he calls back again, can we please block him? Is that possible?
Because
we would really
it's clear
appreciate
that he's on some shit tonight.
Yeah.
So it's
all right. Look, we got about 7 minutes left. Man, we got distracted with the calls and everything. The Nigerian who was killed in Grand Rapids, did he contribute to his own death?
Well, you know what, Dennis, I was trying not to agree with you at all tonight, but I will agree with you that he did cause his own death. Because the initial stop, it was I'm not even sure.
It was a traffic stop.
It was a traffic stop. It was a simple traffic stop.
Yep.
We all have had those before.
Yep.
I don't know if he didn't have his documents. I don't know what the situation was and everything else, but that didn't have to end that way.
No, it did not. Now, do we know the whole situation? No, we never will.
No.
But I think we can assume, and we're not really supposed to assume because you know what they say.
Yeah, I'm gonna make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, But I think it's safe to assume that he has something in his background that he feared would have caused him to be taken in. Okay? Look, I've been pulled over for traffic stops. Okay?
Same here.
Same, and you know, most of the time, some of the times I've been let off, and here's the killer part. I've been let off by white cops.
Same here.
I was in, and this was like 100 years ago. I was in Lilly Dearborn, okay, dead middle of the winter, leaving adult entertainment, okay, and hey, I had just got back from college. Something, my registration had expired. They pulled me over. They let me go. I've had more, I shouldn't say this, but I am. I've had more positive experience with white cops than black cops.
I can agree with you on that. I will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I've got stopped in Detroit, and at the time, my wife and I. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, I wanted to say I do not feel like the gentleman in Grand Rapids caused. I don't think that. I'm sorry. I disagree with you guys because that was an execution. I do agree that, you know, when they're resisting arrest and things of that nature, yeah.
He was.
But as a cop, you are trained.
Okay.
You are trained those areas.
You know what?
Cop, he had him pinned down. But just to pull out the gun and shoot him in the back of the neck.
No. See, now hold on. Now,
Hey, we're not justifying it.
And I hear you and understand you, and I respect your opinion. But at the same time, when I saw the initial stop and everything else, you only saw snippets. But when I saw the whole thing, he got out of the car and then proceeded to run.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we're not saying we're definitely not saying the cop was justified. No.
I'm not saying that he should have. I'm not sure how he could have actually de-escalated that whole situation, because if it was a routine traffic stop, then the only thing he had to do was just take and handle the situation, whether you had your papers or not, if you had out of pocket on your insurance or registration, all that can be straightened out.
Yeah.
You can go home the next night. Shit, if you even get locked up, you can go home.
The next day.
You know, you'll be all right.
All right.
You know, but that whole thing, I don't think was an execution. And the reason why I said I don't think it was an execution and everything else, the officer was literally fighting with this man.
Yeah, he was. Or,
you know,
wrestling.
He was wrestling. He was wrestling with this man, trying to get this man to at least calm the hell down. He would not calm down.
Saved him. He could have done.
All right.
I agree, but you got to think about these younger cops.
Right.
Don't do that.
I just, you know, just like the lady who pulled the guy over and her gun over, she thought she was reaching for her taser, but she used her gun.
Right.
Well, that's a level of stupidity too.
Yeah.
She was that. She know that, and as an owner of a gun and everything else, I can tell you the weight of a gun and a taser is a whole different world.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm a gun owner too, and you're trained.
You're trained. Yes.
Even
All right.
you're trained in certain areas, but I just wanted to make a comment. I know you guys are about to go.
Yeah.
Or what have you, but I just feel like, you know, like with me working at a shelter for 14 years and learning de-escalation, because people will pop off all the time. There's a different level, and I understand it's different for an officer when it's kind of like life and death. However, there's still a level of that person's anger control and management that plays into if a cop is just going zealous and AWOL or ape or whatever. So, okay.
All right, thank you.
You have a good night.
All right, thank you. All right, look, we got maybe 2 minutes left. The one thing I want to say is that when a black person gets killed by the white cop, what do we have? We have Al Sharpton.
Okay.
And a few others talking about how wrong the system is, how wrong it was.
Until all of the information has been made available.
And what really pisses me off is that they're not advocating for our black people, our black men, our black women to do right. I've never heard Al Sharpton say, look, guys, you need to go to school, get an education, get a trade, stay out of trouble. If you get in trouble, handle it like a mature person, not some asshole who's going to get popped. We are about out of time. All right. I think we had a pretty good conversation.
It was fantastic. And thank you all our callers. And I mean, we really appreciate it, except for the one that called in,
call from Redford.
Twice, especially the one from Redford. Yeah, we thank you too.
All right.
So, but anyway.
Once again, this is Puff and Drinks. Our topic was man, I'm stuttering. Our topic was, are you making yourself a target? And I think we're done. We had a great time.